Morning all. Thank you for joining, those of you that have made the time. Just want to give it another 2 minutes and then we'll kick off for the presentation. Right, people, I think this is a good time to get started. Can you all hear me, I hope? So, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for making the time to join us on this great, beautiful morning. We have our Portnox partner available for you guys to just take you through why network access control is so important in our world, and the whole cloud adoption that is now currently becoming sort of a lot more mandatory and a lot more visible in more and more customers on a daily basis. We are going to give you a quick overview of why it should be part of your program, and we'll chat to you about where you can take this thing forward. Will you move on a slide, please? So just to quickly paint a picture, DataGroupIT, we are a specialized distribution house. We do not sell directly to end users. A lot of you know us, some of you don't, but we are a distribution company. We work in a two-tier model, and we supply solutions to resellers across the entire African region. We have very strong relationships with a lot of end user customers, a lot of yourselves, where we help you, we wade into battle together, and we do a lot of good things together as a business. And we have over 200 partners across the African continent. We are known very much as the cybersecurity gateway to Africa, and we have been showing massive growth over the last 3 to 4 years, especially in the sub-Saharan region. And it's starting to become a very interesting business. Portnox are one of our critical tier 1 partners that we go to business with, and they are becoming more and more prevalent and more relevant currently in the sub-Saharan market. The cloud adoption is increasing, and with that, obviously, is the requirement to have network access control done properly. So without any more ado, I'm going to hand it over to the Portnox team to take you through the solution and to take you through what we've been chatting about. The only other thing I want to add, if you've got any questions, please hit the tab on the right-hand side, type your questions, and we will tackle them as you ask them, and I will look after your questions for you. Have a great event, enjoy it, and please feel free to ask questions as you're going. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John, for the great opening. So thank you everyone for joining us today. My name is Idan Pascal. I'm the channel manager in Portnox Security. DataGroup is our major distribution in Africa. We have a lot of customers and a lot of resellers that we work with. I think here I want to show you a small view or to show you the value we can provide to our customers. And you can see here just a tiny bit of our customers across Africa. But here my goal is today to show you or to give you and to open your mind, even to to show our innovation network access control solution on the cloud. Before I just start talking about our solution, let's speak a few words about Portnox. Portnox is a network access control company. This is our focus. We founded in 2007. We have more than 600 customers across the world. And in Africa, we have dozens of customers across Africa. Again, with our partnership with DataGroup, it's growing every year. And working across also through channels with DataGroup. And I think our major change we did in the last few years is to move from the on-premise to the cloud. And this is what we came to speak with you today. Because we are innovation, because we are pioneers in network access control in the cloud, we are right now the only vendor in the globe that offer network access control in the cloud. So we won many trophies because we are providing MSPs as network access control. I will give you more information in a minute, but I think it's very important to mention. Of course, we're selling globally. We have branches in US and UK also. I think one of the major changes in the past few years, and putting aside for a second the COVID issues, is the majority of the market. I think the transformation to the cloud, the changes we can see all the time, moving to the cloud, new solutions, new attacks, new alerts, or new things that we need to handle on our daily jobs as an IT. So I think the offering is changed. I think the evolution is changed, and we need to be prepare the ground. And of course, as we have the evolution of the technology, also, as I mentioned, we have the risk on the other hand. So we need to be prepared, to be focused, and we need to find the right solution and to do changing in our organization to see how we look to these changes and how we can handle these changes, and if we can protect our organizations, and to make sure that we are aware and inside. And we'll try a bit to talk about our offering or our specialty during COVID times. So I think it's very important to us too. Of course, again, as John mentioned, if you have any questions, feel free to ask us in the chat. We'll give you the right answer for everything. Of course, if you want to be in touch with us late after this webinar, if you had any further questions, demo needed, or any other things, just feel free to ask us here. So I think the major change that I want to talk to today, because we are pretty much solid about our thinking about network access control. What I mean, usually when we think about the state of network access control is very traditional solution, on-premise one, very heavy deploy, very complicated, a lot of moving parts. I mean, we need to handle or maintain or to do a lot of changes. And today we have many sites where we need to have a lot of appliances. We need to have a lot of bare metals appliances to maintain it. We need to work a lot inside the network to maintain or to prepare the ground for NAC solution. So I think in these cases, we are struggling. Of course, it's very complicated. We need to do a lot of upgrades, because right now we have a new upgrade, we need to change and so on and so on. And of course, we are locking vendor, meaning we are of course having a specific switches brand, and we are looking in this one, and we can do any changes. So as I said earlier, the world is changing. We need to do fast changes. The time and the effort we can spend on NAC solution is very low compared to the total things we need to do in our organization. Of course, we have a lot of changes. Of course, about doing, especially on the COVID times, meaning we need to prepare the ground to help our employees, to help us to support IT time, to support our management. And in this time, we need to make sure that we spend at the lowest time we can on NAC solution. So here today, my main goal today is to show you and to give you an idea about our new offering, about NAC as a service. What does it mean? So first, we speak about a Portnox Clear NAC as a service solution, meaning that you are purchasing a NAC solution on the cloud based on Azure. You get your own tenant, as you can see, And it's very quick deployed. You need to think about NAC solution. You think about heavy deployed months on months. But think about, for example, you want to protect your Wi-Fi network. You 100% pure Wi-Fi, and so you can create the instance and start policies in 30 minutes. It's amazing. So think about your organization. You want to try something. You want to do something new. You can do it in minutes, not in days, not in weeks, not in months. So this is very important point. The second point is very important too. No maintenance. Think about, you need to maintain, you need to upgrade, so you always delay it, and then you can stay behind. You can miss something. Always running on the newest version. It's amazing. The third one will be auto scaling. Think about your organization change all the time, especially on those times. So you need to think how we can adjust our organization for these changes, but using cloud solution just by click. It's very easy. So think about these points too, and also think about the productivity will be much better. You get better security. You spend much less time on your NAC solution. Also, your experience or your benefits, I will speak about it in a second, from this NAC solution will be much higher, especially during COVID times. And of course, your TCO. If you think about how much money you spend about servers, maintain these servers, the people that working to maintain these servers, how much time in total you spend just maintenance and in total. So think about those points, and now think about new way moving to the cloud. So what does it mean, or how it's look like, to give you a clue, and I know it's a bit complicated slide, but think about on the top right side, we have the component that called Portnox Clear. This is your solution. What we will do, we just authenticate your network element, meaning switches and access points, to this radius in the cloud. What does it mean? It means that we need to connect your switches and access points with the controller to Portnox Clear on the cloud, and they will authenticate through him. Also, on the same page, you will ask me two important things. First one, what repository, how we authenticate based on certificates and MAC authentication bypass. And we authenticate based on Active Directory. It can be two ways. The first one will be authenticate on cloud directories, Okta, Google Workspace, and Azure Active Directory. Of course, all the cloud one, we are cloud adaptive, and this is the first point. On the second hand, if you have on-premise Active Directory, we can just adding a small agent they called the AD broker, and then we can just have the connection between Portnox Cloud and your local Active Directory. The second important point will be if you have any internet connectivity, so we can use Portnox local radius. It's a very small image that will be the hub that all the data will flow in. And if we have any kind of connectivity issues, we can make sure that your organization will still stay protected, and the local radius will be taking the command and control your NAC. It's very important too. We want to make sure that your organization will always be protected, and your maintenance or your daily job will be not be influenced from using any NAC solution. And again, we are enjoying all the benefits, all the added values of NAC solution. But I think I didn't touch the major point here, beside being NAC solution as a NAC as a service. Think about, you have a radius server on the cloud, and another major benefit we have here is we can use Portnox agent. The huge difference here is when you're using Portnox agent on the cloud will be that this agent will report to the cloud. Doesn't matter if it's inside the organization, from the coffee shop, if someone working from home. So here the values that we can gain is much higher. So think about you having a policy for certain group in your organization. Let's think about the finance group, and this finance group have a specific policy that we want to do authenticate, then compliance, and then to repair the compliance if needed, we can do remediation. So all this cycle, we can do the same if someone working from home. So let's say right now I'm working from home from the finance group. So right now the IT team can make sure that my policy, so basically the compliance, for example, my antivirus is up and running and up to date, will be stay on all the time automatically using Portnox Clear Agent. And if not, Portnox Clear automatically can adjust or can update or can just start it on using Portnox. It's an amazing tool that give you not just the visibility about what happened in your employees from home, just give you the ability to keep the policy up and running using the compliance and the remediation. On top of that, we can help you to secure your VPN, meaning you can use any kind of VPN solution you're using today, and Portnox will be the gateway before. We can check again the compliance, we can do the remediation if needed, and we can provide multi-factor authentication based on push to access. They can just push on my phone, press yes, and then it will give me the access to the VPN. Of course, it's on top, but it still is bring you a great value using Portnox. Meaning, using Portnox agent is a powerful tool that can provide you not just the authentication, the certificate authentication or MAC authentication bypass, as we're familiar with radio server, as I mentioned, just give you a major value of using Portnox agent for compliances. For part of the compliance, for example, we can avoid peripheral devices, we can manage blacklist of whitelist of apps, and much more. But I think the major value here will be the visibility outside the offices, the perimeter. It gives you very good value, especially on those days. So if your company is working from home and from offices or just for home, we can give you the entire coverage of all. I think this is a major value that you can gain using Portnox. I think the values can be great, and it's very powerful tool. Of course, if you are Microsoft based, it's even better because we are supporting Intune compliance, and you can use it too in Microsoft, of course, Microsoft Intune. So also for our perspective, it can be very powerful to you too. But of course, we can support Linux operation system, Mac operation system, and more. So we can in a few minutes I will show you a few study cases how we can protect and support. But in general, this is our offering. Of course, it's a big overview, but in general, the values that you can gain using Portnox on the cloud, using the agents, it's huge compared to what you're familiar with, especially during COVID times. And just moving on.
Idan?
Yes.
We have a couple of questions from Sergio. Do you want to handle them now or wait till the end?
Yeah. You want to read me the questions we can answer together?
Sure. So the first one is can the multi-factor authentication use SMS?
It will be soon. Right now, we're using only push to access or soft token using your agent inside your PC.
Okay, perfect. And if there is no connectivity to the cloud service, will you still be able to use the NAC?
Yes, as we can see, I just go back for a second, so we can see we have the radius proxy. This is what will protect us to gain high availability. If we have this small image on our system, so it will cover it if we have any connectivity problems to the cloud, so we can just save in cache for 2 weeks if I'm not wrong automatically, and then give us the ability to work as usual if we don't have any connectivity outside of the cloud.
Thanks, Idan. Appreciate it.
Sure. So we spoke on the cloud, and I want to say a few words because we are mainly focusing today on the cloud, but we also have our on-premise solution. Our on-premise solution, it's our legacy solution, Portnox Core, is software-based, SNMP-based, and it's very easy to use solution too. But I think that the major values here will be more for traditional or critical infrastructure companies that don't have any access to the cloud or avoiding working with the cloud. So we have also this kind of offering, and this structure is much simpler because it's on-premise one and don't have any access to outside. So from the left side, we can see all the devices that want to get access to the network. In the middle, we have Portnox managing the access. Of course, Active Directory base, and on the right side, we have all the network elements that get the decision who get access and where. Of course, we can use a signed VLAN. We use many components here, but I want just to highlight that we have also the offering for prospects that are avoiding the cloud or not yet getting to the cloud and still want to stay the on-premise. So we can have still a great offering here. And also here we have a major value on this solution because the visibility we can gain, and because we are based SNMP based, so the values we can gain to manage the switches, to give the ability to change VLAN or to do more like maintenance actions, not just security ones, give a major value using Portnox Core in these cases. So also we have this kind of offering if it's needed. Of course, if you have any further questions, just feel free to ask. Of course, also on this solution, if it's needed, we also recently launched 82.1x radius support. So it's an add-on if someone needed. So it's of course a bit different solution, but we can still have this this offering for prospects if it's needed. And here I want just a second. I want to just speak about case studies. I think the case studies will highlight the benefits or the added values that this company can gain. I see we have a few more questions, so just keep it to the end, and we can just answer them all. So first, a rental company. We have a major rental company we're working with globally. It's one of the biggest car companies in the world, and their need was very, very unique because they said, listen, we are global companies, we have our offices, but our employees, when working to rent a car using their tablets, Android-based, if I'm not wrong, for renting. So what they did, they put the agent P, Portnox agent, on their tablets. So when they're walking around the airport for renting the cars or in the car agency, so the tablet is connected to the network, doesn't matter if it's organization network or airport network, we are still getting the coverage and the visibility of this device. And this is one of the strengths of Portnox here, because especially on tablets wise, for example, we can wipe them if it will be stolen. So it was very important for them. Also, they have many branches, so they don't want to have any kind of problems to connectivity to the main server. Here we don't have those problems because each branch will directly connect to the radius on the cloud for authentication. So here we're looking for we're seeing a company that have many branches, and they need to have a simple NAC solution, not just simple and easy to maintain, because in the past they was using Cisco, one of our competitors, also based on the 82.1x, but still they were looking for a very simple one, because when you're looking for a global company that have many branches and many appliances, they're looking for to have a better let's say usage, or to have it easier to make any changes in the solution. So that's why it's very important in these cases. And I think the values here they can gain as a global company was very high using Portnox Clear, especially with our unique ability to give him this usage with Portnox agent on operation system on tablets. It's a major difference for them in these cases. The next one will be university. Of course, I will try to give you an overview about our few success stories, but I think it will give you a picture of our unique offering. So here it's completely different scenario, because here we speak about major university with dozens, thousands of students, a lot of teachers, and we need to give them a few things. First, we have the, let's say, academic network. This academic network, meaning for all the professors, all the teachers need to have their internal network. On the other hand, we have all the students' network. We need to provide them a network that they can study, they can learn, they can connect, they can have access to specific areas in the network, to get access to the local network for the students. And on the third hand, we have just guests, contractors, or any others that come into the university, even people come to lecture. So in this combination, Portnox Clear can provide a perfect solution, not just easy to maintain, as I mentioned earlier. We can just differentiate between the networks. We can make changes in the wireless, wired, and guest network, and build it as needed by the university needs. And I think this was the major change here, that we can provide them this solution for those needed, because it was very important to them to have this academic freedom for the network, to have the access of course, to the students was the first goal, but also to have great access for the teachers, the lecturers, the guests, and everyone. I think it was a major change here. Of course, in this case, the majority of the network was wireless. So the focus here was wireless network, not on-premise network, but also they're using on-prem. And I think this was their main goal, to have cutting-the-edge solution, but still to have the ability to control, to have a great control in their network, and to gain this visibility. Was looking for to have the solution for each one of these sectors in the academic sector. And the last one will be the healthcare. I think the healthcare will be a completely different one, because I think it will demonstrate the change that we can see on the critical infrastructure world. Because in the past, the critical infrastructure world, we speak about healthcare, we can speak about governments, we can speak about any other critical infrastructure, companies. And I think it will be a major change in the last few years, because everyone moving to the cloud. Even these traditional companies moving to the cloud, and they can still see the benefits of using cloud solution, although they are more traditional companies, as we can see. So in this case, we can see healthcare institute that moving to our on-premise or to our cloud solution from another on-premise, in this case, Aruba ClearPass solution. And I think in this case, the need was a bit different, because think about a major hospital or major healthcare institute that need to cover the entire network, wired and wireless. I think here they are struggling a lot about micro-segmentation and segmentation, because we have one segment for specific machines, we have that one segment for PCs, one segment for the secretaries, one for the doctors, and it's very important to have this segmentation, to have to not to spend too much time to maintain this solution, and we need to make sure it's working properly, because we're speaking about human lives here. So I think with this total offering we got here, I think the total offering we got here, and what we can provide to this hospital with easy to use solution, quick deploy, no maintenance, multiple locations, so each location will be on its own to the radius, as we spoke on the cloud. We're covering the entire wireless and wired network, and we give them a very, very good offering, a strong authentication using certificates on the wired and wireless, using a deep segmentation as they ask for. So I think here we can see a completely different scenario than the last ones. And I think, of course, we can speak a lot about any kind of industry. We can think about industrial companies, manufacturer companies, retail companies, just name it. For each one of them, we can find the added values we can provide using Portnox Clear, and the benefits we can use or gain using a NAC as a service on the cloud. Of course, again, as I the first one will be, of course, as I mentioned, will be zero maintenance, no maintenance. The second one will be the flexibility. It will be very, very easy to use solution. And the third one will be, of course, the added value during COVID times, and in general, of course, with employees from home using Portnox agent and the values we can provide in these cases. Just another word before we move to the questions. I think the values here we can provide and gain using Portnox Clear will be much, much higher. Of course, us in Portnox, with Data Group team, be very happy to support you. Any question you need, any demonstration, any other questions you will have, any documentation you will need, or any further things you want to know about our solution. Of course, we'll be very happy to support you and help. And I think, John, we can move to questions. So we want to move to, let's see, what questions do we have? We have any new questions asked so far?
Yes, Idan, we do. So the first question that we've got now is, can Portnox be integrated with any switch router AP in the vendor stack?
So I think in general, we can integrate, of course, with anyone. The only requirement needed to need to support 82.1x radius protocol or AAA protocol. It's everything. Everyone is much of the same. This is the because we need, and this will be the only demand we needed.
Okay, thank you. And the follow-up question to that is, does Portnox work on the Huawei devices? Idan? I think we may be having a challenge. Idan? Hold on a second.
Hey, John, it's Mike.
Hey, Mike. Sorry.
Yeah, it sounds like Idan just had technical problems. Hopefully he'll be on here back in a second.
Cool. We'll give him a second. We're actually running nicely ahead of schedule, so no rush.
Hey guys, sorry, just my internet just crashing. Sorry. So So it's
no worries. No worries, my friend.
So you can repeat your last question.
So the question was, does the Portnox solution work with the Huawei network solution, the network device?
Yes, in general we do. We just need to make sure that, as I mentioned, it's supported 82.1x or radius or AAA protocol, and we can work with, and of course no problem in this case. I see also a question here, if I'm not wrong, about using Duo.
Yes, so they want to know how it compares
to MFA. So unfortunately, right now we are working to promote and to be open to using an outside a kind of MFA like Duo, Microsoft Authenticator, and more. So I hope soon we can launch it and we can support it too. But today our offering will be, as I mentioned, in two ways. The first one will be Portnox multi-factor authentication agent. The second one will be using Portnox token, soft token on the agent on your PC. You can just using the serial number and have access using it, of course, but it's optional, 100% optional. The solution is working agent and agentless. And of course, for the compliance and the VPN, we need to use agent, but it still is very flexible and is in 100% by need. So, and again, it's flexible. You can start with, you can start without, you can edit later. And this is the beauty using Portnox Clear, is the flexibility and what you can gain using those.
Perfect. Thank you, Idan.
Any other questions so far?
I think that's answered all the questions currently. Guys, if there's anything else you would like to ask, now's the time. Otherwise, we'll go to conclusions and we'll wrap this up.
Great. So meantime, I could just have a quick summary. So as we spoke today, I just give you a short presentation about our offering with great data group team about Portnox Clear, Portnox NAC solution on the cloud. So the values here is, as I mentioned, we can give the values to coverage wired, wireless, and VPN networks. And using our agent and the unique ability of agent on the cloud can give us a visibility not just inside, and give us a layer of about off-prem layer, meaning if someone working from home or outside the office or across the globe, so we can give this to give this visibility using Portnox agent and enforce the policy using compliance and remediation too, and coverage the VPN on the same page. Also, I mentioned we have an on-premise solution for more traditional companies if needed, but still today we are focusing on the cloud one, and I think you can give a great coverage. We support, as we spoke about, all the operation systems, Windows, OS, Linux, Android, OS 6, just name it, and we are using our agent there. of course, the compliance using only for OS 6 and Windows, but we can still gain these great advantages. And I think the values here will be the simplicity, the visibility, how quick we can go live, and how simple it is compared to what you're familiar with using Portnox cloud solution on the cloud. You're saving a lot of time, a lot of efforts, a lot of working hours, of course, PS hours. It's very important from our perspective. And as we mentioned earlier, we'll be more than happy to show you and demo more documentation, more info if needed from our side with data group team. And I think it will be a great time to thank you for joining us today. And if you have further questions, just reach us and data group team. And it was a pleasure. Hopefully to see you in another webinar soon. And John, you can just wrap it up.
Idan, thank you so much for making the time for us.
Thank
we
you.
do really appreciate it. Good to see you again, my friend. To the guys on the call, you've been invited. You've got email addresses. Most of you will know myself, Hugo, Lindsay, or Sergio from the data group side. If you have any queries, you want to get into a demonstration, you want to test the technology, please reach out, send us an email. More than happy to engage and work with you in the data group IT technical team to assist you to get up and running. Just to reiterate one of the comments made by Idan, this is a technology that you can get running from hours and days, not weeks, months, and years. So
Absolutely.
It's a great technology to test and to see it in action. Please take advantage of that opportunity and reach out. We're more than happy to help you guys. And once again, thank you for making the time for us on this beautiful morning. It's been a pleasure. Have a great afternoon further and stay safe, everybody.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.